Here comes this Chatonga at me with this massive eye shine, this huge figure coming at me. And I'm thinking, my God, I'm seeing the spirit of Sasquatch. I have, in my 35 years of doing this, have seen encounters visually with them about 6 times or seven. I don't remember. I'll probably have 100 interactions with them.
Well,
And
let's go over your very first time seeing that, because I know those can be quite outstanding when you haven't seen a Bigfoot before and then you do see one. So let's just go over in great detail what that experience was like, the first one.
well, I'll tell you what, I started it getting the hold that question just for a second. I started the Bigfoot research by watching a film called The Legend of Boggy Creek, and we all know that if you're Bigfooters, old ones like me. And I was 11 years old, so went to a movie theater in a little town in Nebraska. I had a chance to go see a flick. I didn't even know what a flick was. So it's a neighbor's birthday, kid's birthday. We take us in town to see a movie. The four of us, three of them go see the Planet of the Apes. And I go and see the Legend of Boggy Creek. I wander off, do my own thing. Well, when they came out of the movie theater, they're running around this little town called Seward like a bunch of apes and acting like Planet of the Apes. Well, I'm walking out in a trance thinking, what did I just see? And what am I going to do with this? Because you know what? We're not monkeys. So that's what hit me. And my grandparents raised me. And soon, right after that movie, we had a chance to come to Colorado. But my first seating and experiencing something that said to me at 62 years old today that, is this where I'm going to be with this right now? I never thought that. I'm an 11-year-old kid in a cornfield watching this movie, and it seated me. It said, you have something in your life that you will later on pick up. So grandpa moved us, grandpa raised me and my sisters and my brother, and he got sick. We had to come to Colorado. So we move up here from Nebraska. And I thought to myself in my 20s that I'd start now researching, not hunting. Never went in with guns, never went in with the thought in my head ever that I'd go out hunting these animals, these forest people. And all these years of not being malice and going out with guns and trying to shoot them, I tried to work with connecting with them. So in Nebraska or in Colorado, we move. I'm in my 20s now. I start off in the Colorado Springs area, Rampart Range Road, going up to Gold Camp tunnels into Cripple Creek, Teller County, El Paso County. Heck, I've even been down into the Fort Carson area, Pinyon Canyon. Just saying, to investigate these things around the Colorado Springs area and the Pikes Peak area and Teller County and El Paso County, from my 20s on into my 30s, I'm on the backside of Pikes Peak. I'm looking for a Bigfoot, but I'm not finding anything but structures, and I'm getting all the stuff that we want to get when we're out there. There's a system to it. There's things after years you see, and things out there that just, it's connection there. It connects after the years of doing it. So all those years up there doing this, we called them woodsies, and we would go out and in the wood and just do our thing. We called them woodsies. And a lot of years, my friends never really accepted what I did. They were like, I was the off one. Well, I got married finally at 35. And what's funny about my marriage is for 10 years, I never told my wife what I did. She found out, though. I'll tell you how. So I got married and I'm living in Teller County and I'm doing the fluorescent fossil beds and I'm doing 11-mile canyon. What I'm doing is my Bigfooting, squatching, what we all do out there, right, guys? So I thought at that age of 35 and all these years of doing this, because you get frustrated as a researcher. You want to give up a lot because you're not getting it, but you got to hang in there. You got to work on your inner self. You got to work on things that they want you to have. I can just give it to anybody. Work for it. So, and that's not staying on a computer and what we have nowadays. Oh my gosh. I am so lucky that I have rode the shoulders like Dennis Poles and David Pilates and Igor Bursev and Don Monroe and um, Ron Moorhead and Bob Gimlin and Russell and all those guys out there. I had to sit back in the back row and watch all these guys mature and of course I'm not talking about Bob because I love that man. We know he's got his own recognition there, but I'm just saying I would sit back and watch the guys and see all this going for them and knowing that wow, look what I've done in my years. But let me, because I'm going to jump off here and there, but I'm going to get back on track to where at 35, my point was about talking about Bob and all them guys. You got to ride the shoulders of good people to learn things. You're going to go out there and learn from the people who do the stinking thinking, that do hoaxes and do all that stuff. Go ahead. Your reputation won't be good. I'm not saying mine is. I'm just saying follow the people that's going to lead you and lead with them. So at 35, I'm going to thinking that, I'm going to Estes Park. My wife is a nurse and I met her in nursing. And when I'm talking about how you work on your inner self, I had a lot of years of taking care of people. Huh. You want to learn about people? Take care of them, change their diapers, feed them, put them to bed, and see them when they die. You learn a lot. You learn about yourself. You learn about people. You learn about human. We're not good. And I know that. I know humans are the worst, but we can be the best too. So I try to take that when I'm doing my Bigfooting. Oh gosh, that's a lot of years of trying to build that. But man, when you go out, I'm 35 now, and I've got all this in me, and I'm thinking, I, I just want to see one. So we go to Estes Park. The wife gets a job at the hospital. And I walked down Estes Park 17 years ago and I looked around and I says, there's not a Bigfoot anything in this town. And I'm so sick of people saying there's no Bigfoots on the side of this Rocky Mountains. I'm going to prove them different. So as I walk down Estes Park, I'm looking around. We moved there. I brought out the Bigfoot. I go online, I'll buy me one of those cheap costumes. This park's got so many events here, it's unreal. I crashed every one of them with my Bigfoot. But I also had a reputation here because I was a Safeway Bigfoot guy. I ran a Safeway fuel center. I had 45 million people come through here every summer. My fuel center Safeway organization gave me a Bigfoot wall. And that's how I got my local reports. That's how I got Estes Park established on the map, saying that we're right here. It doesn't have to be Washington, and I'm so sick of hearing all that and all those guys that way. Oregon, whatever you want to put them, they're right here in the Rocky Mountains. They're right here in Estes Park. Go over Trail Ridge Road and go on over to the Flat Tops. Go to Steamboat Spring. Go to our mountains. You got them there. So I come here, walk down Estes Park. Nothing's here. So I start my outfit. I start crashing all these events. finally, I said, let's just do some events. So I paid for 4 of them here. I had people like David Pilates, my buddy. I had Matt Moneymaker come in. We did a town hall for Finding Bigfoot. And I should have been on the Finding Bigfoot movie back in 2012. What they did is pulled it and went to Bailey, Colorado to a good friend up there and did the episode there. But that's okay. I thought, man, I had it. I bid it. They took it from me. But that's okay. I thought it's not about the glorification of it. And I thought to myself, I'm going to start saying to myself, it's about the education of it. Don't worry about being glorified. Don't worry about being on a TV show. Don't worry about because they skipped you. And that happens a lot. But over the years, I've learned it's okay. I'm at where I am today because I had good people come to me and help me. And I'll tell you about that. So the 35 years, come to Estes Park, going to prove Bigfoot's here, crashing those events, start my own events. Finally, my mayor buddy, Todd, came to me when he was mayor and says, Kenny, we'll see what you're doing here. People are liking it. I think that we're going to give you a event. They called it, they did all that for me. I didn't come up, they did. They're going to call it Bigfoot Days. And it started in 2019. I thought, wow, all these years doing what I did. But in between those years of doing what I did at Safeway, I got a lot of reports. And I brought out reports from the Rocky Mountain National Park too. And now they're in the flats. I'm just saying, you have to get these reports in to get any credibility in your area. It's nice to have 100 people come to you and yak at you about their experiences in the area, but you got to have some credentials and some credibility people come out. That's just the way it is in this field, or you're just going to get ridiculed. And oh, I don't ever get that. I don't ever get that. But so, you know, after it's emotional to me because there's a lot of years of doing this. I've spent my holidays, my birthdays, my time off away from work, everything for Bigfoot. When my kids are older now, they say to me, you didn't do nothing with this because you were out looking for Bigfoot. So now I think, wow, I let that destroy my family, destroy all my time and stuff, but look what I have gotten. And I'm going to talk about that because when you do get it, it all pays. It all comes, it all pays off. So after I got, they said to me that you're going to have an event. Well, prior to that, that was 2019. Prior to that, I had a sighting. It took me all from 2013 up to 19 to get on an event. I had the sighting in 2013. If you want to see everything on it, look at the Estes Park News, Bigfoot sighting, Ken Collins. You're going to see all kinds of stuff. You can go to my Bigfoot webpage. It's called Bigfoot Loose USA. You can see a lot of videos, and you will see a couple videos because I had a couple incidents that year that Chris Hazelton from the Estes Park News so graciously did a caption on it, and she did the story on it. And that's all first sighting. First sighting was 2013. Here I am all these years walking around looking for these things, doing my woodsies, doing my emotional thinking that I love you guys, I won't hurt you. And every time I go out to this one certain area, I got my first sighting. And how did I get that first area? I got it from the wall. People coming into Safeway saying, hey, Ken, blah, blah, blah. I'm in this area. I'm in this area. I had a sighting. I had a friend that came in. He wasn't a friend then. He was a guy that came in, but he's a friend now. He came in, had a sighting in a certain area near Estes Park, down in the canyon on the big tops. And I says, man, can you take me? And he took me there. And he showed me the area and he showed me where the sighting was. He ran by his family. This Bigfoot ran by him first, then up the hill past his family that were camping up top of this certain area. That's legally to camp in. It's in Bureau of Land Management land, so people can camp up in there and not pay. So he left, and because he's a fly fisherman, and his thing was to move on. So he left, and I thought, well, I'll stay in this area. So I did the habituation thing. People talk about the habituation. You know what? All that means is I stayed there in the area 3 months. Every day, every chance I could get to leave work, I was at my area. And I wasn't walking around with a backpack and sticking my hand looking like a hiker. I was looking like something out there that was unorthodox. It was different. I wanted them to see me and get familiar with me and get comfortable that maybe I'll catch them off guard one time. So with my repetitious going there and doing it, wearing everything the same, just doing it, mannerisms, hoping that they would attract and I could connect. Well, I got it. 2013, so 9:30 in the morning on my buddy's birthday, I got my sighting. I got to the area. I do my same old thing I've done for 3 months. I get in a certain place. I pray. I ask for them. I walk off. I don't burn sage and do a seance. I just do my certain little thing for them and I'll go on. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be simple. So as I'm walking through my field, like I always do, it snowed the night before. It put about 4 inches of nice crust on the ground. As I'm walking through my area, there's a long 2 length football field at least. You got to cut through the field. As I'm cutting through the field, my peripheral vision from the side, I'm not looking at it like this. I catch it from the side because I worked a lot of years on that out there. Out there, a lot of years, you have to, as researchers like old boys like me, we work on our survival skills out there. I was one of them. The work of that peripheral vision, where you see things at the side, of it, you just catch things. So I caught that glimpse of this black moving about 60 to 70 yards out behind a rock, behind some aspens. The snow had covered the rocks. This black form set like this. And I had a picture of it here, but that's okay. So it set about 60 to 70 yards out, and it's looking at me in a form like this. So he's behind a rock, and his nose is sitting right in the crevice right there. And there's his pat. I think snow from the tree fell and hit him in the head there. So that's his forehead. You see the patch of snow on. But he's sitting right up in there, staring me down. I have my camera. I take my camera and I zoom in on him, and I'm looking right in his eyes. And what happened to me? This big researcher did all these years, and it's daytime. I'm looking at a Bigfoot and I'm melting. I am not accepting it. All of a sudden, I just turn around and just walk the hell off. The heck off. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing? You could run over there and kick it. What are you doing? I walk off. I just walk off. It's saying to me something like, come back another day. Just go away. Come back another day. I'm thinking, well, I got you right here. But I love you so much. I will go away. I walk away, go to my truck, get in it. I'm starting it. I'm driving off, and I'm so depressed. Like, what happened to me? It's emotional, man, because you're looking at a Bigfoot and you're not going to it. And it's daytime. It ain't night. Heck, you don't know it's daytime. I couldn't accept back when we talk about researchers, what we go through sometimes. We go through a thing that we get sizzled, or we get zapped, or we go through some type of what are they doing to us? I didn't accept that. Finally, I sat down with my buddy Ron Moorhead, had him in a event where we, became friends. A couple times meeting with Ron, I talked to him and thought, Kenny, you got zapped. They put something on you. They put a mojo, dude. You were just like, you couldn't accept it, so you walked off. There's nothing wrong with you for doing that. But like I said, when I got home and told my family about that, I had my son say to me, you're just this big shot researcher and you walk off. you had a chance. You just kind of walk off. I went, yeah, I did. Because it was kind of telling me, would you just go away, come back? And I did that. But I was frustrated. I was like, man, I love you so much. I will walk off. So Bigfoots that are in one area, in an area one time, they're going to be back. So I kept the persistent of going back. Now I'm mad. Now I'm a little mad. I'm thinking to myself, if I see you now, I'm jumping in your lap. You won't get away now. I'm going to jump in your lap. So I'm out there. I'm doing my gifting. As researchers, we do gifting areas. And a gifting thing you guys will learn is trinkets or something we can give them, thinking maybe they'll give us something back. And so I'm in my gifting area, about the same area where I got the first sighting with the little one. Just saying, it's in almost in the same area, right? Almost to it. I'm in that area. It's only about a month later. I'm still persistent. I'm still doing what I do. Frustrated though, a little bit. I jump off of my gifting rock and I hear this whining of a, and I turn around and there's a little one cribbed, not more than 2 feet from me, right there. And it's got this big ear and it looks like a little baby chimpanzee. I'm just going to say, because it had this big ear like this here, like big ear on this little head. Then I look up and guess who was there? The first one I saw. And he's looking around a rock, this time sideways like this at me. He's kind of like cockeyed. He's looking. And I have all these pictures, guys, because I have my camera ready. And when I did turn and that little one whined at me, I backed off enough to watch that one looking at me sideways. And as I'm like in that motion, a third one comes behind the tree. It's a red one. I did have enough to go click, click when I hit my camera when I saw the red one and got the full picture of them all. So one's darting out, one's looking around a tree, and one little baby one's cribbed like this. All I said was, I look up, I look at the red one when it turned, because I got the motion of the picture when it was sideways. And you can see a big arm, you see his ugly head, and he's huge. One side of him is as big as me, and his hand's the size of a bowling ball. He's huge and he's red. But when he did that look, see, I used to be able to control my emotions because I talk about it a lot. Man, you still break down a little bit. And I'm 62 years old. I think I can handle my emotions on this. But that look he gave me when he turned and he went to the whole body and looked like this at me, the look on his face, the lips was just, he just looked at me with this look of disgust and contempt. It was like, you want to see me, buddy? You've been knocking around here for 3 months. Here the heck I am. And we looked at each other. I looked back at my little one because I love my little ones. And I'm like, dude, tell him to back off. And I'm thinking he's going to come off these rocks on top of me, the red one, while looking back at the baby. And then he goes away. I step away. I just backpedal back. And I'm like, my gosh, this is like, we won all this in our life. Who's going to believe it anyways? And it's like, you know what? I don't care. I got some pictures and I thought, just get out of here and leave it alone. And I shut down. And I wasn't going to go back out for a lot of years after that. I was like, hey, man, woo, that was intense. But there was a purpose for that. It kicked me out of it for a while. And I have a good researcher in Colorado who had an experience happen to him, like I'm talking about. And he didn't ever came back. And that was one of my mementors. So, has that incident So he never came back. So the incident changed me a point to where, am I ever going to come back to this? I mean, I love this for so many years and you've got this stuff and now it's going to drive you away. Well, at the gas station, I had a lady come in. They're an older couple. They live in South Park, Colorado. She says this story to me. She says, I have Bigfoots walking up and down my driveway, and my husband doesn't believe me. So one day I went out and I said, well, I'm going to pour me a print. And she didn't know what to do. She goes in the house and gets flour out of her kitchen, mixes a bunch of flour, goes out there and pours his cast. So when she said that story to me, she asked me, would you take us out around here? I broke down and went, that is so cool. I mean, if you're got that much affection that you would cast a print with flour, heck yeah, we're going to go out. So we went back out. We went to a little town below us. It's called Glenhaven. We got another Bigfoot. Now with Leah, see, we became friends. She became my researcher. You can look up Leah's sighting here. She got a sighting here on Storm Mountain in Estes Park. It's in the BFRO flats. It has researchers. We can turn on each other. And I turned on Leah because I was like, man, you're in my area, Estes Park. You're the one that's always taking these pictures of these dark pareidolia pictures, and you're getting them as a Bigfoot. I'm so sick of hearing a Bigfoot behind there, Bigfoot behind there, Bigfoot behind there. She got one. And the BFRO comes out and verifies it. And I'm thinking, wow, they verified it, but she got a print, a picture of one, and it's verified BFRO. So I turned on Leah a little bit and got jealous, like, and it was like, we do that in this field. Thank God I mended that and went back and said I was wrong. I said, you got to, because you know what? How can I deny anything what anybody got after what I've seen? I've got pictures from UFOs, just saying. And Bigfoots and UFOs, they talk about that, but let's not go down that rabbit hole yet. So all those years, I get my Estes Park town on board and they give me an event called Bigfoot Days. So we have Bigfoot Days, and a lot of years that I stayed here and did my Bigfoot investigations. And Glenhaven is another part of Estes Park that gave me a good Bigfoot down there. We got pictures of the Bigfoots leaning over the edges of the cliffs. We got a vocalization of that Bigfoot screaming at us while we were pouring a print, his print, or whatever print. They're up on the hill yelling at us. So this area also, I have some friends from Italy come out for about a month each year. They were in the area and saw it. So how many times have I seen Bigfoot? A lot. How many times I interacted? Well, I'm just going to say it right now. We have an area that me and my buddy goes to. We've been going there over a decade. I got a family of Bigfoot we've been studying. We've seen them grow up. We got a particular one called Elvis. Elvis has got immaculate eye shine. And when you look out a tent and you see 3 or 4 Bigfoots running around, juveniles, and they got this eye shine, they're peeking at you. You're by yourself. You've been on a camp adventure for 3 days. You're pretty much like thinking, what can have so much energy in it that it emits eye shine? It's got a lot of energy. And the interactions I've had is from them poking me in my tent. I got so many stories. I'll tell you one that happened last year with the little one. We're in a expedition and everybody breaks camp. So I kind of break away from the camp and I go back to my tent. But before I went to my tent, I got lost. And I'm thinking, how can I get lost? I have a big light on my tent and it shines down this way. And I'm like, well, how can I get lost? So I start walking to my left, and all of a sudden I hear this, get out. I'm like, okay. So I turn, and there's my tent that way. So I get to my tent, and I no more got my back turned. Here they come, right behind me. I get into my tent like I did, shove myself in that tent, and I'm like, can anybody else hear this? But they're coming to my tent, and I remember my light shining. It looks, if I'm inside my tent, I can see that all the shadows outside. That's why I do that. You can see bugs landing, just shadows. Here comes this little, a little hand comes in. You see it. He's poking his finger like this. He pushes in on the tent like that, and I just go. It's too close. He's like right there. I'm just going bam, and that scared him off. Don't do that. If you got interactions with these forest people, don't just let them do their thing, or they're gonna just cut everything off. So the area that we're in, and I get the UFOs, I get all the Bigfoots that we get, all the interactions that we get. It's a very hot spot for Bigfoots, and we think there's a family that's lived there for over a decade. Me and my buddies researched them. I used to take a lot of footprints around the reservoirs there. Well, my buddy respected me enough not to bother me, but they'd see what I was doing. And I thought, well, why isn't anybody else down here getting these footprints? Well, there's humans. Well, there's got to be humans and there's got to be Bigfoots. We got to be together. Sorry. But you can get down there and extinguish different types of footprints. So one time I was down in there and I got a 5-inch footprint, and they were so beautiful on an inline stride. I took the print, casted it, and went to, well, here it is right here. And I went and put this little print into a shoe. And that shoe is a size 5, which is a 2-year-old. You know, I work somewhere where I have a lot of kids come in, and there ain't one kid ever that I've gotten, a 2-year-old, that will walk an inline stride like that and do it for 80 yards and then go into the forest is where it went. And what was right next to it? An 8-inch print walking inline too. So that's, to me, as I'm getting older now, I'm trying to learn, put some more visuals to it. There's probably 80% of my stuff I didn't care. I didn't journal it. I didn't log it. It was just in this noggin. That's scary. But that print, to me, and watching that inline stride, and I'm trying to get more mature, trying to show better, not doing the stinking thinking, trying to show something behind it, trying not to show that dark spots over there's a Bigfoot. I circled it, so it's a Bigfoot. 35 years, you get away from that. You get your first sighting, you start going away from stinking thinking, you start thinking more better. I'm just saying. And not always you're going to have something, guys. We can't go out all the time to get something. But in my family's heritage, I have a Native American. My cousin. She's the first full-blooded Native American Cherokee to win the Miss America. And I take my Indian Cherokee heritage and I use that out there. I use that spiritually. I had a chance to go out. I'm a Nebraskan, but I've lived in Colorado all those years. When I moved away when I was 12, and I came back a few years ago and bought a house. I still live in Estes Park. But I thought, well, I'm in Nebraska. Let's help out here and see what's going on. I help a person down there do something with a certain place that was associated with Bigfoot, and I'm not there no more at that place. And I thought, well, where are the Bigfoots in Nebraska? And I went to the Omaha Nations Reservation in Macy, Nebraska. I took a researcher out there from Russia called Igor Bursav. We went out there, and I'm learning with Igor because Igor wanted to go out and learn too from the nations, the tribals. Barry Webster's the main tribal out there, and he opened his arms and he got us on the reservations, and they have a Bigfoots out there that they can go and pray to, and they'll come out. And one certain area, when I took Igor to the reservation that time, there was some disrespectfulness going on because he was asked not to take pictures, and he did, of a certain area that the tribals asked not him to do that. I was so frustrated, I was kicking him off the reservation. And I love that man. This 60 years, he's the I love that guy, but I could not take that. So we went away and I talked to my buddy Art and I said, Art, I'm going back to Macy. All that calmed down. We kick up, we all got off the reservation. These guys will never be back. And I went home and I had this feeling like I'm going to go back to the reservation. Art's like, when? I go, well, I don't know. So Barry calls me. He says, Kenny, come back out before the summer. I'm going to take you to a special place. So I thought, all the stuff I've seen out there with the orbs, and I have a movie out. We have a movie out called Alien Contact in the Rockies. Talks about an orb. But boy, that's another story. I mean, I'm just going to go try to finish this one. So, with all that's going on at the reservation, I get the phone call from Barry. He says, Kenny, come out to the reservation. I said to my friend Art after I hung the phone up, see, Art, I told you I was going back. He just invited me back. So I go back to the reservation, get with Barry. Barry takes me out to a special place that he doesn't even take his own people to because they won't go there. But I didn't know any of this. So Barry takes me to a special area and he says, start walking. Start walking that way. I'm like, okay. So I'm walking out in this reservation out about half the football field to an area where they have a Bigfoot called Chatonga. But prior to me walking to that area, we had Chatonga on film. And he's coming out. He sees big eyes shine. He's huge. Barry says he never goes to nobody. I can, he backs away. But what Barry did when he said to me, you start walking that way, I didn't know what was going on. I just walked. I thought, I got a chance. I'm out there. Here comes this Chatonga at me with this massive eye shine, this huge figure coming at me. And I'm thinking, my God, I'm seeing the spirit of Sasquatch. And he gets close enough where I'm trying to reach for him. And I'm saying, can I touch you? And Barry, thank God, is recording this. And you hear me saying, can I touch you? And I'm thinking, he's zapping me. He's and my gut's hurting. He's hitting me in my gut. So I back off. And I could hear Barry back there saying, oh my God, or saying something. He gets, I back off of Chatonga and I walk over to Barry. And he says to me, what's wrong with you? He goes, you don't have any fear? And I says, Barry, I don't know what just happened, but I think that was the spirit of Sasquatch. What the heck did you do? He says, I was testing your strength. I was testing your courage. My gosh, what, aren't you afraid of these things? I said, no, I have to throw that fear out, or why would I want to be out here? He says, Ken, he goes, I don't even send my own people here. They won't even come here. They won't even do what you did. He says, you got a lot of spirit, and I'm going to respect you for that. And I just walked off like, okay, just blown. And I thought to myself at 61, that was last year, man, Kenny, what a journey that was. You on the reservation, you're looking at Chatonga, and it's huge, and it's emitting eye shine. So the next morning, the tribal elders came out and sat me down, and before I left the reservation and talked to me, they said, Ken, you saw something that our ancestors lived with for years. You saw the spirit of Sasquatch. He said, we don't let white men do that. We don't let very many people on this reservation. There's something about you. We like you. And Chatonga came to you. And I says, you don't want to know why Chatonga came to me? You remember when Igor and all them guys were taking pictures and all that? And I kicked them off the reservation. I said, they'll never be back. Chatonga came to me and thanked me. So thank you for getting those people off. He was thanking me, buddy. He was come and Barry said to me, Chatonga goes to nobody. That's why he came to you. And I said, yeah, I didn't tell you until today because I had to sit on it all night because there was a lot happening. And when you sit down with these elders and you talk to them, you respect them, you talk to them in a respectful manner, and you give them respect because they deserve it. So became friends and with them, and I get invited back to the reservation, and they can pray to these Bigfoots and they will come out. because they're comfortable with that reservation and they know that their journey there is forever because they're protected. We were in a event. It was 2020. It's in near Bailey, Colorado. It's ran by my movie producers who do my movie their movie that I'm in called Alien Contact in the Rockies. And they've done a second movie that's about my house in Nebraska called A Haunting in Blue Hill. Talks about another part of that's not even associated with Bigfoot. It's about a haunted doll, but something else. So the movies are good to see. They're made by good people. And so all these years I talk about it's not about the glorification, it's about the education of what we do. Researchers out there, a lot of our researchers, and I've done many events, guys, where I have to pay for people to come, like Lyle Blackburn, on all the big shots, Cliff, all them guys. I'm not saying nothing bad about none of them, but a lot of them won't do what we do. I don't write books. I'm not that kind of guy. I should, but I'd rather go out and have it. I learned out in the field, I learned out in Mother Nature. But so when I come and talk and do what I do, it's therapy for me because a lot of times I couldn't talk to people. These guys can. They write books. You know, they're all glorified. And to me, it's like it's not about the glorification; it's the education. When we see these Bigfoots and we learn about them, now my journey is to learn more of that. After you see them, you become, you want to be you want to know about them, but you see them, you become a believer. It's a little bit different, and I hope you change your way of doing it. And now you take it as another journey and find out more about them and how they interact. And it'd be love to see a family together and stories that I've heard from people that how you know I've been out with thousands of tours. Have I ever gotten hurt? Been out with hundreds and hundreds of nights out there with crowds of researchers. We've never been attacked or hurt. We never looked at these animals as they're menacing and they're going to tear us apart. And imagine they can, of course. But I always go out with the feeling I love them. I want to learn about them and all the stuff I've seen and the orb story that totally, I won't leave you out on that. But we're in Bailey, Colorado. I'm jumping now because I got off a little bit, but I want to finish the orb. 2020, we're up there. We're in an area. When I talk about that inner feeling you have, I got sent to an area and I says, we're not staying here. My feelings brought us down to an area about a mile away. And we went into this area in the daytime to do a daytime reconnaissance because we're going to come back at night and do the same thing. So we're in an area, we go up, I find a footprint in the Colorado soil. I always find footprints in a smash print in the needles. You can see a beautiful smash print. So we record, we mix, and we pour. My producer did. He pours a print. And so now we wait, we leave the area, we come back. And this event we have each year, it's around July. It's in the Lost Creek Wilderness area of Bailey, Colorado. And so we cast a print. We come back about 4 hours later. It's dark now. So now I'm leading them back up. We get to the area and the print's not there. I'm like, where's the print? And we look down and my buddy says, it's flipped, Kenny. Somebody pulled it out and flipped it over. It was like they didn't like the white side up. They put the nature side up. That's cool. Put the nature side. I don't want the white side up. I want nature up. So they flipped it. I'm like, what's going on here? We got something tonight. And as we were going up to the area, one of my guys heard something and he's really spooky. And he's like, I just let it go. I just like, let's not get round up because I told them all, when you come with me, we're not having screaming. We're not having, if you see something, control it. Give them their respect. We'll talk about it later. And thank gosh they did that. One guy says, well, they'll go tonight. I says, you just take pictures. I want you taking pictures, buddy. Thank gosh he did. We get up there at the nighttime. Prince flipped over. We get up on the rock. I have a Native American with me and another guy. They don't give me very many people when I do my excursions because they say you got to watch Kenny because I'll leave you. We're going to give you 2 people. Other guys got 10. I get 2 or 3, but sorry, got to stay with me. And that's how we get it. So we're up on the rock. Native Americans playing his drums. All of a sudden, he's getting like frustrated. I was like, "What is wrong with you?" He's like, "I don't remember what I'm playing." He goes, "I played this song this beat all the time. Why am I?" And he's getting like frustrated. He's getting zapped. He's getting angry. He's getting disorientated. So I have a friend who gave me a military 3 gen scopes to use that night. So as I'm scoping that night, and my friend up the Indian, the Native Americans playing his drums, I'm scoping an area, and all of a sudden, this blue orb comes out of the forest, and it looks like a blue ball with a bunch of Christmas wreaths around it. Just look at a Christmas wreath and just go 100 miles and just look. And you're looking at this opening, and this thing's coming through it. And I'm looking at it, and Art, my buddy, says he could hear me talking to it. I'm going, God, can't you see that? Or something. I'm just like, but I said it in a little bit different manner, though. My buddy then says to me, there's something coming up the ravine that we had walked up. So I veer away from the orb and I pan and I jump off the rock I was on, go about 20 yards, get on a rock close to where the ravine was that we walked up. Here comes this little Bigfoot, and it's running to that orb. You want to talk about 3 of us looking at, we were just, I had to collect us all. We had to pull ourselves together. And when we did, finally, we all got together because that was an intense moment to see that. They didn't quite see what I saw, but they could hear it. I got a scope on it. I'm seeing it. Well, we get back, guys, and we take all this together and we settle down, get our pictures. That particular night, I always carried a Canon camera with me. I was smart enough to put my Gen 3 scope down, pick my camera up, and take one snapshot of that orb before I said to myself, I've got to get over there and see what's coming up that ravine. So I took the picture, put it down, go over there, put the Gen 3 back up. There comes a little one. And it's like, dear God. Later on, when I asked the Native American, because he's higher above me on rocks, I said, dude, did you see eye shine? He says, yeah. I didn't say anything. He goes, it's about like this. He's showing me the high. And that's exactly how I saw mine, that height. And then he says, I saw another one that was bigger. We're smart enough to come to me when we all got together. I got the picture when I lifted my camera of the orb. It's in a big, nice blue form. Art got the picture of it opening. So we might have in that alien contact in the Rockies, the only orb that's in a form of solid and opening. So that was pretty neat to get that. And that's just basically the orb story. And the story about the other movie I have out coming out by these producers. It's called A Haunting in Blue Hill. And it talks about something else.